Good morning, second grade. Happy Friday. Today is May 29th, and you have made it through your final full week of school. You are almost a third grader. You have 3 days left of second grade next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And I want you to keep working, keep hanging in there because we're not done yet. Take some time this weekend to catch up on any seesaw activities that you haven't done yet, please. And keep sending me your fantastic work. There are 2 things happening next week that your parents already know about, and I want you to be sure to mention something to them and remind them because they are important activities. On Monday, we are going to have the teachers and staff at Nevlin in a parade in the neighborhood right around Nevlin. And families can sit outside their homes, or you can sit in the grassy area on Nevlin's, right by Nevlin's playground there, from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. So that'll be an opportunity for us to see each other. And then on Wednesday, from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock, we will have some drive-by goodbyes. And you can come in your car, and the teachers and staff will be outside on lawn chairs, and we'll have your report cards and anything else that we need to give you for your end of the year materials. We'll have them ready for you. You won't be able to get out of your car, but we can walk up to your car and hand them to you. And I can't give you a hug, but we can do the air hug, and that feels good too. It's good just to see each other's faces. So talk to your parents about that and plan on that for next week. I'm looking at your matrix, and I see that today we are going to read a Science Spin magazine. It is called Messy Eater, and I would like you to go to your folder and go get that magazine because I would like you to read it with me. I'm going to come up to the camera, but let's read it together. So go get your magazine, pause the video if you need to, and we are going to read a Science Spin together. Here we go. Let's look at the front cover. Have you ever seen this animal before? Under the title Messy Eater, it says this is and if you're not sure how to pronounce that word, they've given you some help right here in the brackets. Kinkajou. I think it's Kinkajou. This is a Kinkajou. See, I had to look twice. That's what good readers do. If it doesn't seem right the first time, you just go back and try it again. It lives in the rainforest. When it eats fruit, it makes a mess. But that's good for the forest. Are you a messy eater? I've seen some of you be messy eaters at the table during breakfast or lunch. Now, that's not good for people, but it sounds like it's good for the forest. Now, as a reader, I bet you have a question. I bet you're thinking, why is it good for the forest if the Kinkajou is a messy eater? And we will find out. Okay, before I read, I do a little previewing. You know how this works. I see that there's going to be a sidebar. I think we'll read the sidebar last today. Are there any important words saying, look at me, look at me? Oh, yes, there are. Keystone species. Wow, I'm anxious to see what that means. And here's the word devours. I know what devours means. That's what I do when I have a piece of pizza. It's my favorite food. I devour it. That means I eat it pretty fast. The Kinkajou can eat upside down. Wow, there's a label for the picture. Are you ready to read with me? I'm going to fold this back just a little bit, just to make it a little bit easier to read. Okay, now I know you can see the words on the screen, but I want you to be looking at your magazine. Here we go. This messy eater drops seeds. When you make a mess with your food, do people tell you to stop? No one stops a Kinkajou. That's a good thing. Its messiness helps plants grow. Now, do you remember when we went to the Nature Center and we learned about seeds traveling? And we learned that animals are one way that seeds travel. That's what the Kinkajou does. Ready? Here's a subheading. Seeds need to travel. The Kinkajou lives in the rainforest. The rainforest is a wet, warm habitat with an amazing variety of plants and animals. There are, boys and girls, there are more species of plants and animals in the rainforest than anywhere else in the world. It has hundreds of kinds of fruit trees, and their fruit is full of seeds. Those seeds can grow into new trees, but they need to find a new place with plenty of room to grow. That's where the kinkajou's messy eating comes in handy. Do you think you have this figured out? Let's keep reading. Are you reading with me? We're on snack attack. A kinkajou is sleeping in a hole in a tree. It wakes up. It has a snack attack. It wants fruit and lots of it. It jumps from branch to branch, searching for fruit. When it finds a juicy fruit like a fig or a papaya, it's ready to eat. It travels to a branch of a nearby tree to enjoy its snack alone. Then it tears the fruit open and eats fast. The seeds fall on the ground. Here the seeds have what they need to grow into new trees. See, so the kinkajou is helping some new trees to grow. Sometimes the kinkajou does something even messier. Ooh, let's find out. The bottom it says, it eats upside down. It wraps its tail around a branch and hangs there as it devours a piece of fruit, dropping the seeds. It's worse than a messy baby in a high chair. Ha, that makes me think of Parker. Parker sits in a high chair now, eating his food. Seeds spread other ways. Of course, not all the seeds end up on the ground. The kinkajou swallows some. This helps the rainforest too. Can you figure out how? Imagine the kinkajou eats a fig from a fig tree. The fig and some of its seeds move through the kinkajou's body. By the time the kinkajou poops, it has traveled far from the fig tree. See? So that's how the seed gets moved to another place in the rainforest. The seeds in its poop fall to the ground and sink in. Warm rains will water the seeds. A new fig tree can grow, far from the first fig tree. That's another way the kinkajou helps more rainforest trees grow. Now this says a big player. The kinkajou is very important to the rainforest. Scientists call it a keystone species. Now, as a reader, you might think, what does that mean? But if you keep reading, it says, that means that many living creatures depend on it. It's the whole circle of life. Living things depend on each other. Without the kinkajou's messy snack attack, the rainforest would have fewer trees. Thanks, kinkajou. Keep up your messy ways. So, I don't think you should be a messy eater, but it's pretty good for the rainforest that the kinkajou is. Let's read our sidebar. It's called Seeds in a Sweet Package. The kinkajou eats these fruits. Do you see the seeds? Look closely. Are you looking at your magazine? I see the fig seeds there. Look at the papaya seeds right in the middle. And then we have passion fruit. Those are all fruits in the rainforest. Have you ever tried eating any of those fruits? Think like a scientist. Fruit is sweet. How does that help its seeds get spread by animals? Hint, remember that animals, like many kinds, Sorry, that didn't make sense, did it? Remember that animals, like many kids, enjoy sweet things. I know I enjoy sweet things. So we learned a little bit more about how seeds travel and a little bit about the rainforest too. The rainforest is an amazing place. If I could take you on any field trip, that's where I would take you. I would take you to the rainforest, but it is so far away. It's close. Most of the rainforests are close to the equator because rainforests have to grow where it's very, very warm and very, very moist. You know what? You remember what the equator is, right? That imaginary line that divides the northern hemisphere from the southern hemisphere. We looked at it on a globe before. So I wish I could take you to the rainforest, but you have to just rely on your reading to take you places, and that's a good thing too. So today, it says tell a family member what you learned after reading the magazine. So I hope you'll talk to someone in your family about what you learned. And I want you to reread the science spin on your own. I would like you to go to Seesaw. And remember on Seesaw to read the directions that I put on there. Sometimes some of you go to the activity, but you're not reading all the directions. So make sure you read what the directions tell you to do. And today, the activity directions tell you to reread the magazine by yourself or with someone in your family. The directions tell you to do the back side seed spreaders. And when you're done, you are going to click Add Response. You will take a picture of your work. And if you read the directions, it tells you to click the microphone. When you click the microphone, I want you to read the questions and your answers. So do that today, please. And I hope you have a great weekend. And before I say goodbye, we're going to do a little bit of math. So we will start by correcting the work that I assigned yesterday. And here we go. You can read it with me. The long hand on an analog clock is the minute hand. The short hand on an analog clock is the hour hand. Are you checking yours? 15 minutes is a quarter hour. 30 minutes is a half hour. A clock that uses hands to show the time is an analog clock. A clock that uses numbers to show the time is a digital clock. The hours from noon to midnight are PM, and the hours from midnight to noon are AM. So, hopefully you checked yours. Let's look at the back. You should have written 5:45, 4:10. Remember, you stop and name the hour first, and then you count the minutes by fives, and you say 5 at the number 1. 5:10. That's how you get 4:10. For this one, you should have stopped and named the hour hand as 6, and then you count your minutes, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. 6:40. Tell what time is shown. Draw the hands on each clock. 7:35. You have the long hand on the 7. The hour hand halfway between the 7 and the 8. Here's what 4:25 should look like. And 6:55. Now that's a tricky one. This hour hand should be almost on the 7, so close, because it's only 5 minutes away from 7 o'clock. You don't want it back here by the 6. You want it almost on the 7. Long hand going right through the number. And you had to circle the best choice. Walk the dog would be 11:45 a.m. Go hiking, 2:30 p.m. Wash dinner dishes, 6:30 p.m. Now, if you look at your matrix, it tells you that you will do these 2 pages today, 633 to 634. And next week, our videos are not going to include any new learning. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to actually do this together. So if you go get your paper, let's do it together. And then you're all done for the weekend. Then you don't have to do it on your own today. Are you ready? We'll do this together. On a clock, the hour hand is between the 2 and the 3. The minute hand is on the 5. What time is it? Show the time on both clocks. Okay, so let's draw the minute hand first. The minute hand is on the 5. Minute hand is the long one, right? So we're going to go right through the number. Do this with me, please. Okay, so if the minute hand is on the 5, do you know what the minutes would read? Let's count by 5s and try to figure it out. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Good. And the hour hand is between the 2 and the 3. So is it 3 o'clock yet? No, it's only past the 2. So the time is 2:25. Please draw that on your paper. Let's do a brain builder. The time is 9 o'clock a.m. In 6 hours and 5 minutes, Greg will leave school. What time will it be? Circle a.m. or p.m. So let's do it together. The time is 9 a.m. 6 hours are going to go by. So 9 o'clock, let's count the hours. 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. So 6 hours later would be 3 o'clock. Let's put the 3. And 5 minutes. So we have to put 05. It's already 9 a.m. And once we got to 12 o'clock, remember 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, it became 12 o'clock noon. So p.m. started. So you have to circle p.m. 3:05 p.m. Ready to go on? Derek has basketball practice at 2:30. Luke has practice 2.25 hours later. Show the times on the clocks. Write the time and circle AM or PM. It's probably good for us to do this together. Let's start with Derek. Derek has basketball practice at 2:30. So here's Derek's clock. We know how to make that say 2:30, right? 30 is the 6 right through the number. Haha, remember 2:30, best time to go to the dentist, right? Put the hour in halfway between the 2 and the 3. You're going to write 2:30. Now, would it even make sense for him to go to basketball at 2:30 a.m.? No, that would be the middle of the night, right? So we know it's 2:30 p.m. Now, Luke has practice 2.25 hours later. So let's think of 2 hours later first. 2:30, 1 hour later would be, do you know it? 2:30, 3:30, and then 4:30. So 4:30 is 2 hours later, but we have to go another quarter hour. Remember when we divided the clock into quarters? So if the minute hand moves another quarter hour, then minute hand's going to be on the 9. So put your minute hand on the 9. Remember 2:30, 3:30, 4:30. So 2 hours later was 4:30 plus that other quarter hour for the minutes. So what time does our clock say? Can you read that? Name the hour first. It's past the, did you say 4? I hope so. Count your minutes. Start at the 1, say 5. Ready? Count with me. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So 4:45, it was p.m. here. It's 2 hours and a quarter hour later, so it's still p.m. Ready for the test practice question? The boat picked up passengers every half hour. If the first boat arrives at 8 o'clock a.m., when will the fourth boat arrive? So this is like one that we've done before. Let's write the boats, first, second, third, and fourth. Okay, the first one is 8 o'clock. And then they come every half hour. So the second one would be, what's a half an hour later? 8:30. What's a half an hour later? 9 o'clock. What's a half an hour later? 9:30. So there we go. We figured it out. We drew a picture and it helped us figure it out. Excellent. Let's go on to the back. Are we ready? Draw the hands to show the time. 4 o'clock digital. Let's draw 4 o'clock analog. Oh, you can do that without my help. It's o'clock, so right through the number. We put the hour hand pointing right at the 4. Write the time. What does that clock say? Can you figure that one out? Did you write 10:30? Hope so. There's our essential right in the question, right in the middle. Essential question, how do I use and tell time? Okay, you're good at this. Now skip count by fives. The time is, let's start by looking at the red hour hand. Remember, stop. Name the hour. We just name it. It's past the, did you say 9? I hope you said 9. We're going to count by fives. You ready? We start on the 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Draw the hands. Write the time. 5:15, 5:30. Are you ready? Do you remember quarter when you divide the clock like this into 4 parts? Do you remember quarter past was always on the 3, right? So long minute hand on the 3. 5:15, put your hand past the 5. So that is 5:15. And one more. 5:30. Oh, that's easy peasy for you smarties. Half past is always on the minute hand is always on the, for half past. Do you know it? 6. You know that, right? And that hour hand is right halfway between the 5 and the 6. So 5:30. And here's what you did. You sail through this. You sailed right through this. We finished our chapter. Now, second grade, you have some homework pages that are in the math book that I gave you last time you picked up your supplies from your desk. And I didn't assign those, but those are great pages that you could do to practice telling time some more. So have a wonderful Friday and have a great weekend. And I hope to see you on Monday for the parade.